Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our entrepreneurial mind. Now we are in module 5. Okay, for our learning objectives for these modules, we will introduce the importance of legal issues to entrepreneurs. We will examine patent protection, including definitions and preparations, to review copyrights and their relevance to entrepreneurs, to study trademarks and their impacts on new ventures, and we will also examine the legal forms of organization. Okay, so to start with, let us first discuss the legal issues to entrepreneurs. Okay, so let's read this. Entrepreneurs cannot hope to have legal expertise or background of an attorney, but they should be sufficiently knowledgeable about certain legal concepts that have implications for business ventures. It is important for an entrepreneurs, of course, to have a knowledge about the legalities, okay? Especially when you enter into a business ventures. Now, let's talk about the laws governing intellectual property. Okay. So, what is intellectual property law? Okay. So, when we talk of this law, it deals with laws to protect and enforce rights of the creators and owners of inventions, writing, music, designs, and other works known as intellectual property. There are several areas of intellectual property, which includes the copyright, trademarks, patents, and trade secrets. Okay, so we will discuss them one by one. So let's start with patents. Okay, so before that, these are just some example of our intellectual property rights. So we have the patents, copyrights, industrial design, plant varieties, trademarks, trade dress, and trade secrets. Okay, so let's discuss the patents. Okay, so when we talk of patent, is a grant issued by the government through Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines. Okay? So it is an exclusive right, okay, exclusive right granted for what? For a product, process, or an improvement of a product or process which is new, inventive, and useful. So when we talk of patent, you have the exclusive right. Okay? You are granted with an exclusive right for your product, process, or any improvement of that product or process. Okay, this exclusively right gives the inventor the right to exclude others from making, using, or selling the product of his invention during the life of the patent. So let's have some example of patents. So as you can see in the picture, we have a shoe here wherein meron siyang original design. So which means walang dapat pwedeng makagayad sa kanya. So yun, same as with number 2 example wherein meron siyang design, okay, with new function. So exclusive right niya yon. So sa kanya lang yon. So these are just example of patents. Okay. Now, what items qualify for patent protection? Okay, so this include the processes, machines, products, plants, compositions of elements, which is chemical compounds, and improvements on already existing items. So, ito lahat yung coverage or mga items na qualify for patent protection. Okay? Yung mga processes, machines, products. So, may rights ka din. So, nagka-qualify yan for patent protections. Okay, now, let's go to copyrights. Okay, so when we talk of copyright law, protects any original creation. So we are talking here of the original creation and grants the holder of the copyright exclusive control over when, how, and by whom their work may be copied, distributed, or exhibited. Okay? So, ito yung pinoprotektahan niya yung mismong original creation. Okay? Original creation. So, yung mismong holder of the copyright, meron siyang exclusive control. Okay? Provides exclusive rights to creative individuals for the protection of their literary or artistic productions. So, any works created after January 1st, 1978 and receiving a copyright is protected for the life of the author plus 70 years. So, medyo mahaba, no? Yung coverage ng copyrights niya. Okay. Now, these are just some examples of the copyright law protects. So, ano yung mga yon? So, we have the literary works, paintings, photographs, drawings, films, music, choreography, sculpture. So, ito yun. So, these are just some example of your copyright. Okay? So, may mga exclusive right ka dyan. Okay. Now, the copyright owner has the rights to. Okay, mayroon naman siyang right to what? Okay? So, number one, to reproduce the work. So, meron siyang karapatan, meron siyang right na mag-reproduce ng work and then prepare derivative works based on it, distribute copies of the work by sale or otherwise. So, pwede niyang i-distribute yung copies na through benta, through sale, or otherwise. Okay? Perform the work publicly, display the work publicly, and sell or transfer individual rights. Okay, so these are the copyright owner rights. Ito yung mga rights ni copyright owner. Okay? So, pwede niyang i-reproduce, pwede niyang ibenta, distribute copies, pwede niyang i-perform yun sa public, pwede niyang i-display yung work niya sa public, or sell or transfer the individual rights. Okay. Now, let's go to trademarks. Okay. So, is a distinctive name, mark, symbol, or motto identified with a company's products and registered at the Patent and Trademark Office. Trademarks identify and distinguish goods. Service marks identify and distinguish services. Okay? Certification marks denotes quality materials of goods and services. So again, class, when we talk of trademarks, these are the things that we see in a product. It may be the distinctive name, a mark, a symbol, or motto. Okay, let's have an example. So here are some example of a trademark. So ito yung mga examples of a popular trademarks and service marks. So as you can see here in the first picture, we have Coca-Cola. Okay? So the shape of a Coca-Cola bottle is sa kanya yan, trademark niya yan. Ibig sabihin, pag nakakita ka ng ganyang klaseng bote, hindi ka na magtatanong kung ano ang laman yan or kung saan brand yan. So automatic sa Coke yan. Okay? We also have McDonald's. Pag pronounce daw, Mick siya, McDonald's. Okay, so ang symbol naman niya ang magsasabi sa atin na eto ang company na to is McDonald's. Okay? So ang symbol niya is letter M. Okay? Kaya 'di ba yung mga bata pag nakikita nila pa lang yung letter M, alam na nila yon kung ano siya. Okay? We also have yung on the next picture, okay, we have the Apple. Okay? So it's a brand yung brand name natin yung Apple, 'di ba? Okay, so we also have yung GE, General Electric. So these are just examples of trademark wherein we use as symbols, okay? Yung mga symbols nila, yung mga motto nila, or slogan nila, just like the McDonald's. Ang McDonald's, ang logo niya is, I'm loving it. Okay, so yun ang slogan niya. So kapag nakita mo na yon, so alam mo na siya. Okay, that's for McDonald's. Okay. Next, what about trade secrets? Okay. So a trade secret is any practice or process of a company that is generally not known outside the company. Okay? Kaya nga trade secret siya, hindi siya known outside the company. So anong trade secret to? Practice or process of a company. Information considered a trade secret gives the company a competitive advantage over its competitors and is often a product of internal research and development. Pag sinabi kasi natin trade secrets, these are very confidential information na hindi puwedeng ibulgar. Kaya nga minsan 'di ba, kapag may mga nag-i-interview sa mga companies wherein they have these trade secrets, hindi nila puwedeng i-ano, ibigay kung ano ang secret recipe for that. Okay. So, parang gano'n siya, this is a trade secret. Kaya competitive advantage 'yon ng isang kumpanya over its competitors. Hindi dapat puwedeng ibigay 'yon or else gagayahin ng competitors. Okay? Now, so let's have some example. So, famous trade secrets which includes the formula for Coca-Cola. Okay. So, yung Coca-Cola, yung taste niya iba eh. Kapag nag-taste ka ng Pepsi versus Coca-Cola, ma-identify mo si Coke. So, meron siyang trade secret formula for the Coca-Cola. Also, KFC, chicken recipe. Eto, 'di ba ang dami nating ginagaya talaga natin yung sauce niya. 'Di ba 'pag kumain tayo sa KFC, automatic ginagawa nating soup ang gravy niya. Ang sarap kasi niya. Okay, so trade secret 'yon. Hindi puwedeng sabihin ni KFC ano ang trade secret or ano ang formula niya dun sa recipe na 'yon. Yung mismo even the chicken itself, kapag iba yung lasa ng chicken ng KFC at ang Chicken Joy ng Jollibee. Okay, same as with McDonald's. Okay? And also, we have the Big Mac special sauce. So, ganun din sila. So, may mga kanya-kanyang trade secret sila when it comes to their sauces, sa chicken recipe, and also dun sa mismong taste ng Coca-Cola dyan. Okay, so these are just some example of our famous trade secrets. Okay, next. Now, let's go to so we're done with our different laws concerning the entrepreneurs. Now, let's go to the general characteristics of forms of business. Actually guys, no, so ito shift tayo sa isang topic natin. So, this general characteristics of forms of business organization. Actually, during your basic accounting, I think na-discuss ko na siya sa inyo to or I don't know kung na-discuss or ano na natin siya. Kumbaga na pasadahan na natin siya. Pero for now, let's discuss it once again. Okay, so we have different forms of organization. The first one is sole proprietorship. Next, partnership, corporation, limited liability company, and also the cooperative. Okay. So let's have some understanding on these forms of organizations or forms of business. So let's have the first one. Okay. Sole proprietorship. So again, as we all know, when we talk of sole, kapag kasi sole is a single. Okay, isa lang. So which means a sole proprietorship is a business owned by only one person. Okay? So let's discuss the different advantages and disadvantages of this sole proprietorship. Again, when we talk of sole proprietorship, we are talking of a only one person. Isa lang yung may-ari niyan. Okay. So let's talk about the advantages. The first one is of formation. So since it's a single proprietorship, isa lang ang may-ari, madali lang siyang i-form. Okay? So easy to set up. Sole ownership of profits. Of course, if you're the only owner, Okay, ikaw lang ang may-ari, the tendency is the profit is all yours. Okay, next. Decision making and control vested in one owner. Okay. So when it comes to decision making and control, so you have the control. We have lahat na sa'yo when it comes to decision making, sa'yo na yan. So wala kang iniisip na ibang tao when it comes to decision making. And flexibility, of course, hindi mo na kailangan, madali lang mag-adjust kasi ikaw lang yan eh. And then relative freedom from government control. So, walang masyadong restrictions when it comes to government. So, medyo konti pa lang yung mga kailangan sa'yo ni government. So, kaya meron ka pang medyo freedom. Okay, relative freedom. And freedom from corporate business taxes. Ang kagandahan lang kasi ng single proprietorship, walang masyadong taxes. Unlike sa corporation, which will be later discussed, meron siyang corporate tax. Sa single proprietorship, wala. So, less tax ka dyan. Okay, next tayo. So, disadvantages naman. So, again, the first one is unlimited liability. When we talk of unlimited liability, uh, pwede kang habulin. Okay, kapag may obligations ka, kapag mayroon kang mga credits na hindi mo nababayaran, so the tendency for you is pwedeng kunin sa'yo even to your personal belongings, personal asset. Kaya nga unlimited liability. Yun ang disadvantage ng sole proprietorship. Mag-isa ka lang, kapag nakuha mo yung profit sa'yo lang, which is the advantage, but then, kapag may mga obligations ka, kapag may mga utang ka na hindi nababayaran, the tendency is ikaw pa rin na magsasuffer. Ikaw ang hahabulin up to your personal asset. Okay? Kaya nga unlimited siya. Lack of continuity. Of course, in case of death, oh, so wala nang magtutuloy. So, ibig sabihin, mag-stop na siya. So, walang continuity yun. Okay? Next tayo. Less available capital. So, kapag mag-isa ka lang kasi, usually you only have limited funds. Okay? Relative difficulty obtaining long-term financing. So, ganun nga. Because of the difficulty in availing the long-term financing, you only have the available or short funds or capital. Relative limited viewpoint and experience. Since mag-isa ka lang, so minsan kung ano lang yung alam mo, hanggang doon ka lang. Kung ano lang yung skills mo, yung knowledge mo, yung experience mo, so yun lang, limited lang siya. Okay? Yun ang disadvantages niya. Okay? So let's proceed. Let's go to the next form of business, which is partnership. Okay? So a partnership is a business owned by two or more persons who contribute resources into the entity. Okay, so when we talk of partnership, we are not talking only of two persons. Okay? So pwede siyang two or more. Okay, who contribute resources into the entity. Okay, so in general partnerships, all partners have unlimited liability. Pag sinabi mo, kasi dalawa ang partnership eh. Meron tayong general at saka limited partnership. Pag sinabing general partnership, all partners have unlimited liability. Ano ba ang sabi natin sa unlimited liability? Pag sinabi natin unlimited liability, even to your personal asset, kukunin yan. Unlimited nga siya. But when it comes to limited partnership, creditors cannot go after the personal asset. Hindi nila pwedeng makuha ang personal asset mo. Limit lang. Kung hanggang saan lang ang pwedeng kunin, dun lang sila pwedeng kunin nila. Okay? So that is partnership. Right? So let's discuss the advantages and disadvantages. So let's have the advantages first. Okay. So is formation. Okay. So pag sinabing is formation, just like the first one, which is the sole proprietorship, very easy to set up. Okay. Direct rewards, of course, kapag kayo na yan, so you make your effort, you work hard for it, and then of course you will be rewarded for what is being worked for. Okay. Growth and performance facilitated. Of course, kapag two or more na kayo, the tendency for you is to have this what we call the additional knowledge, skills, experiences. So, pwede nyo nang ma-set up yung business niyo on how you can grow and perform it well because you have this um, lot of knowledge from your group. No? Hindi lang siya limited sa isa lang. So, marami nang mag-share yan about their experiences, their skills, ano mga pwedeng gawin natin sa business natin. So, yun lang ang kagandahan ng um, partnership. Okay? Wherein you have your two or more partners. Flexibility. Again, very easy lang kayo mag-adjust. And then next, relative freedom from government control and regulation. Same pa rin siya, no? Wala pa siyang ganun ka restrictions or hindi naman restrictions. Ibig sabihin, wala masyadong control when it comes to government. Though there are some regulations we need to follow, but then it's not that very, you still have the freedom. Okay? Possible tax advantage. So there's a possibility that there will be a tax advantage. Okay? What about disadvantages? Okay. So we have unlimited liability of at least one partner. So again, sa partnership, meron isa sa inyo na unlimited siya. Okay? So ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng partners are unlimited. Isa lang. Okay? So siya lang yung pwedeng habulin ng isang when it comes up to their personal asset. Unlimited liability of at least one partner. Lack of continuity. Okay? So, again, minsan kasi kapag yung isa ayaw na, mahirap na rin kasi mag-continue. Iba pa rin kasi yung tandem nila. So, the tendency kapag may nagkasakit, o kaya nagkulang na ng capital, or kaya namatay, so the tendency for them is wala nang continuity yung business nila. So, yun ang ano lang, disadvantage. Bound by acts as just one partner. So, of course, partner kayo. So, ibig sabihin, pack one, pack all. Kung ano yung ginawa ng isa, affected yung isa. Okay. Difficulty of disposing partnership interest. Mahirap kasing i-dispose yung partnership interest kasi pwede rin kasi hindi unanimous yung decision. Kapag sinabing hindi unanimous yung decision, hindi lahat ng mga kasama mo doon is mag-a-agree doon sa gusto nila na i-dispose yung partnership. So, kaya disadvantages din siya. Isang disadvantage. Okay? So, let's proceed. Let's go to corporation. Okay, so when we talk of corporation naman is a business organization that has a separate legal personality from its owners. Okay, so meron siyang separate personality, legal personality. Okay? Ownership is a stock corporation is represented by shares of stock. Okay? Ito yung mga, di ba may naririnig kayo kapag corporation kasi, ang mismong pwede ka maging part ng isang corporation when you have these shares of stock. Kaya nga may tinatawag tayong mga common stockholders, mga preferred stockholders. Okay, so mga stockholders yun na kung saan meron silang shares doon. Yung ang tawag doon, shares of stock. 'Di ba? May binebenta rin silang mga shares of stock sa public or okay? Tapos pwede mong ibenta 'to na kung saan bibili ng mga investors. Kapag bumili si investor, he or she will be part of the corporation. Shareholder na siya or stockholder na siya. Okay, now let's go to the owners, stockholders enjoy limited liability but have limited involvement in the company's operations. So yung owner daw or yung stockholders, limited lang yung liability niya. And then, limited din yung involvement niya sa company's operation. Ibig sabihin, may limit lang siya kung hanggang saan lang siya pwede. Hindi lahat ng company's operation is may control siya. The board of directors, an elected group from the stockholders, controls the activities of the corporation. So, sila ito, yung mga board of directors, sila ang may say. Sila ang may control sa mga activities of the corporation. Example tayo, when it comes in giving dividends. Yung dividends, ito yung profit. Ito yung kinita ng kumpanya, ng corporation. Sino ang may control doon? Si board of directors. Sila ang magsasabi when they are going and how much they are giving dividends. Okay, so sila ang may control doon. Okay, now let's talk about the different advantages and disadvantages of corporation. Advantages muna tayo. Limited liability. As mentioned earlier, when we talk of limited liability, ang pwede lang makuha sa'yo, pwedeng mahabol sa'yo is yung shinare mo. Kung magkano lang yung binigay mo dun sa kumpanya, yun lang ang pwedeng makuha sa'yo. Hindi pwedeng makuha yung personal asset mo. Next, transfer of ownership. So when we talk of corporation, pwede siyang ma-renew after 50 years. So there is a transfer of ownership na kung saan kapag hindi na pwede si board of direct, for example lang tayo. For example, yung isang tatay, okay, part siya ng corporation at hindi na niya kaya, okay, matanda na siya, pwede niyang i-transfer yung ownership sa kanyang anak. Okay, kaya nga 'di ba kung makikita lang natin, ma-observe lang natin yung mga corporation ngayon, 'di ba usually, ito yung dating namamahala, okay, yung senior. And then after ilang years namatay na si senior, nandito naman si junior o kaya yung ibang mga anak o kaya yung asawa niya. So it's a transfer of ownership which means yung corporation is there is this continuity. Okay? So after 50 years, pwede siyang ma-renew ulit. Okay? Next tayo, unlimited life. So as I've mentioned, dire-diretso yung life niya, hindi siya nag-stop. Kaya nga there are some corporations who are now 100 years na, 200 years na. So medyo matagal na sila sa industry. So they have unlimited life. Relative ease of securing capital in large amounts. Of course, if you have many investors, the tendency for you is you are secured in availing your capital, especially when it comes to large amounts. Marami na kasing way on how you can come up with a capital. Kasi marami na ang involved when it comes to corporations. Increase ability and expertise. Of course, when we talk of corporation, there are different investors na dyan. We have the board of directors, different investors, different shareholders, which increase the ability and expertise. Ibig sabihin, marami na silang pwedeng ma-share when it comes to their experiences, their expertise, knowledge. So, mas maganda siya kasi marami na yung mga tao na involved doon. They can share their knowledge. Okay? Now, let's have the disadvantages. Okay, the first one is activity restrictions. Okay, so hindi naman kasi lahat pwedeng gawin, so there are some restrictions. Lack of representations, regulations. Ito yung sinasabi natin when it comes to government. Marami na siyang control with the government over your when it comes sa mga documents mo, when it comes sa mga licenses mo, sa mga regulations. Marami nang nakikita kasi si government when it comes sa corporation. When it comes sa auditing, ayan, papasok na si BIR kapag may mga audit sila. So, mag-check sila ng mga books and records ng mga corporation. So, again, marami nang involved, yung government involvement when it comes to corporation is malaki na siya. Organizing expenses, yun nga, no? Kapag lumalaki yung isang business, which is a corporation, malaki rin yung mga expenses niya. And then, double taxation. Bakit double taxation? So, si stockholders, meron na siyang tax. At the same time, yung mismong kumpanya is meron siyang corporate tax. Kaya double taxation siya. Okay? Okay, now, let's go to the limited liability company, which is another form of organization. So, limited liability company or what we call the LLC is a business structure in the United States whereby the owners are not personally liable for the company's debts or liabilities. So, hindi sila personally liable. So, kaya nga limited siya eh. Limited liability companies are hybrid entities that combine the characteristics of a corporation with those of a partnership or sole proprietorship. So, sa Philippines, hindi, yun nga, sabi nga natin sa US lang ito. So, ang characteristics niya, sabi nga niya, is a combination of a corporation and also with the partnership and sole proprietorship. Okay? Now, and the last one is cooperative. Okay, so what is cooperative? So, a cooperative is a business organization owned by a group of individuals and is operated for their mutual benefit. So, ito yung kung saan it's a group of individuals. So, mga individuals na to kung saan nagsama-sama sila to form a organization for their mutual benefit, para sa kanilang benefit din. So the persons making up the group are called members. Okay? So members ang tawag doon. Cooperatives may be incorporated or unincorporated. Some examples of cooperatives are water and electricity cooperatives. We also have the cooperative banking, credit unions, and housing cooperatives. Ang kagandahan lang kasi ng cooperative is they help their members, or they help their individual group members on giving them some funds. Okay? Of course, may mga interest pa rin yun. Pero at least they have this, what we call this, benefit na part ka ng cooperative, na kung saan pwede ka maka-avail ng loan sa kanila. And then, of course, you can use it in buying your raw materials. Especially, di ba may mga magsasaka rin naman, mga cooperative sila. So, they can have their loans sa mga cooperative wherein they can purchase their mga machineries, their equipment, their chemicals, and others, no. So ito lang ang kagandahan niya, and at smaller interest rate. Okay, and then of course after naman nun, kung ano man yung makikita, ma maka-come up nila with the dividends, of course sa kanila naman yan, yung any profit na makukuha nila is para sa kanila naman yan. Okay? So I think that's the last forms of organization natin, or forms of business, which is cooperative. Again, we have five forms of organizations or forms of business. We have the first one, sole proprietorship, okay, which is a single ownership. We also have the partnership, wherein we have two or more partners or owners. And then we also have the corporation, which is a separate legal entity siya. And we also have the limited corporations, yung LLC natin, okay? And also we have this one, the cooperative. Okay. So I think that's it. So thank you for listening sa aking module 5, and hope to see you again, guys. Again, thank you and bye. God bless.